Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to run late on this open mic. This is the Poetic License 5320 open mic, the home edition, because we happen to be in quarantine mode and I said I will do these readings. There is a Facebook live streaming events page for it that anybody could put anything up that they would like. I am reading from library space right here at home so that I could feel like I was at Recycled Reads. Normally we'd have to close up right at 5:30, which is just a few minutes from now, but I thought I'm going to read one more passage and I'm going to run a little bit longer because poetry is worth it. And so I'm going to take one more sip from my poet glass. Good stuff, Bob. And I was going to read to you a few poems and then a section of material from a performance art show to close off this open mic reading space. And also because Tom Woodruff, the Between Worlds poets, the other world poet, a transplant from Austin, is originally from Australia. He would run an open mic, community poetry at Half Price Books, and he would bring all of these reading glasses and they'd be different colors, and I would put one on and then I'd put another one on, and of course I can't see through them. But I'm like, how do we look? How do we look? And so in homage to Tom, I thought I would get a pair of reading glasses from my husband, and I thought maybe the dark color would match with the poet hat. I don't know. But I thought I would try that and read to you some poetry from this Scars Publications book. To finish off my reading from Scars Publications, they run two literary magazines. CC&D magazine was born in 1990, it started in June of 1993, and the other magazine, which started as a supplement section to CC&D in 1994, started off on its own in 2000, and it's called Down in the Dirt. And everybody likes the name Down in the Dirt. That sounds like that coolest name, so everybody wants to be publishing Down in the Dirt. So I got a lot of stuff, and this one has a lot of prose as well as poetry. And this is a July to December 2019 issue collection book from Down in the Dirt called Legacy. And I should give a shout out and hello to new people as they're starting to come in. This will be the last reading from me because this open mic is ending in a minute, but I thought, you know, we're not actually in Recycled Reads, so I can run a little bit longer, do one more reading before the night is through. So I thought I'd read a couple of things from this book called Legacy, share with you a couple of poems, and then things from a performance art show that was in Chicago in '03. But let's start with a poem that's called Prescribe Them Something, Anything. And the fun thing about this is if you've got a poem published, we try to publish it as an image in Instagram that would appear on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr, and if it gets published in a book, we try to put that image in there as well. I know you're not going to be able to see it, but I'm just trying to say that we're trying to be able to share poetry in as many different forums as we possibly can. So this first short one is called Prescribe Them Something, Anything. I've played this game with all you doctors. I live on whatever prescription drugs you can hand me, and I try to make myself chemically better. So when I've decided I can't take it anymore, I go to the doctor. I start to cry to them, try to ask for relief, and they give me blank stares, afraid of emotions. They're afraid of taking a patient's hand. They'd rather prescribe them something, anything, and say that their work is done and they've succeeded. But I think the average American is sick and tired of your cookie-cutter answers, which are sharper than a scalpel, and we're bleeding. These poems are often placed in to fit the end of a piece of prose that happens to have just a little space, like this next one. After Alex is a tiny, tiny little space, too short to be able to put a piece of artwork, for instance. So I see more people coming in. Hello, this is going to be my last reading. It is going past 5:30, I think, but I'm giving one more reading to share this book with everyone. This is actually a 4-liner, tiny, tiny. It's called Genesis 28. Religion? It's called Genesis 28. I had a dream the other night that there was a ladder here on earth which led to heaven. God and angels descended it. I could climb it and be one with God. What a splendid idea, I thought when I woke, because I believe my dream was telling me that heaven is also on earth. So I'll make changes here and make it so. This short one is a haiku, another one to fill a little space that was related to this story before it, and it's called Imagination. And as if anyone can see, there's a tiny little image that went with it as well, so that it also appeared on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Tumblr. I don't think it appeared on Pinterest. But you try to get it as many places as you can, and you get it into paperback books, and you say it at open mics. This is a haiku called Imagination. Imagination is your friend, and may also slaughter enemies. Now I'm really curious what that story was about. Worth that one at the end of it. The last pieces I'm going to read to you are from a section that was from a performance art show that was originally in Chicago. I see somebody that was a bartender said one of those open mics was watching earlier, but the show was called Death Comes in Threes, and that was from July 18th, 03, 17 years ago, holy cow. So this is a combination of poems and very micro prose pieces, so I'm going to just go from one to the next and read them and not even tell you titles, just for that. Turn back the hands of time. But maybe I might still think that I could live forever then. So yeah, I was just loving being in that hospital, trapped in that room. I imagined that I was actually at my apartment and not in this hospital bed. I even talked about this, and my sister, and not wanting me to hallucinate, told me, okay, you say the bathroom is just past the door, which was my hospital room door. Why don't you show it to me? And so I'd walk out the hospital door and look down the hall, and I was stunned. This wasn't right, I thought. But I stood there for a split second, and I said, well, it was here. Day in and day out, I would stay in that hospital room, and I was really going nuts. I imagined my friend Brian, who now lives in San Francisco, becoming my roommate, dressing up as an old lady so as no one could recognize him and no one would think that he was actually my friend visiting me, so that I would have someone there to talk to when I was sitting there all alone, all by myself, day in and day out. No, my friend Brian never visited me there, and I did have an old lady for a roommate, and no, I never talked to her. But I kept thinking to myself that this was just how I could keep myself sane, by imagining that a stranger was a friend, just so I could get through my days. And I was never able to get over Dave's death when he died just 3 months before my death, and I wasn't able to get across the country for his funeral, so I could never see his face to say goodbye to him. So I would fantasize. I would think of him appearing in my room, coming in from a side entrance so that no one would see him, and that he would come to visit me, and I would say, how did you get here? You're supposed to be dead. Did anyone see you? And he said, No, I managed to hide, and no one could see me because no one knew I was alive. But I wanted to know how you were doing, because I didn't want anything to happen to you. And I wanted you to know that I wanted you to be okay. And I wanted you to not die. One day, in what seemed like an endless stream of weeks. I got flowers and I was stunned. I was thrilled. No one had sent me flowers before while I was in this hospital. I didn't even know who they were from. When we looked at the card, they were flowers for a Janet Spinoto, a woman who is apparently somewhere else in this hospital. And I thought, that's what I get for thinking someone would actually buy me flowers. I was supposed to be saving a life by turning the wheels and avoiding an accident. Well, I did. I turned the wheels of my car, and that saved the motorcyclist's life. My car was pushed by someone else into oncoming traffic, so another car could hit me. I think the first car hitting me was bad enough, but while we're at it, let's get another one in there to ruin me as well, and they can push me over 100 feet. That's what I get for saving a life. After the hospital, after I got out of the coma, no one even visited me. No one that did this to me visited me. Not the people who hit me, not the guy whose life I saved. Did he even know I saved his life? Did he even know he could have been dead that day? None of these people ever attempted to pay me back for my car, or my time, or my coma. This is what I get for being nice. I have the physical and emotional scars from that day, and no one ever apologized to me for the pain they caused. No one even visited me as I recovered. I'm tired of doing things myself, and I'm tired of looking for my own answers for all the truths, the troubles I experience. I'm tired of looking. I just want someone to help me on this one. In the past, with my head on my shoulders, they got tired of looking my direction to see if I needed anything. Now, I can't get any help at all. There's a pot on my windowsill, terracotta, I think. And it used to have a spider plant in it once. Now there's just a pile of dirt shaped like a terracotta pot with a few dried stems coming out of the top. I could never take care of anything, you know. And I wonder, is that what I've done to you? Could I find you again, hold you in my arms, rock you like a baby, stroke your hair, and tell you everything would be just fine? After being in the hospital so long, my hair was growing long. I never even got to shave my legs, even, while I was completely unkempt. I wanted to at least be able to shave my legs in the shower, but they wouldn't trust me with a razor. I had to have a family member watch me so that I could take a shower and try to get myself in order. Sometimes you just forget life, what you're living life for. Life passes you by, you've got nothing to show for the years. Do I have another 60 plus years of this to go, of forgetting, of not being missed? When I almost died, I didn't think about death. I had to get better. I had to teach myself how to eat and walk and talk. I had to get out of that wheelchair, and people can make fun of me for it. Even when some of us think we have it all together, someone has to throw you a curveball of death to tell you that we might have been wrong, that we might not have all been prepared for everything. How do you prepare yourself for something like this, though? It is so easy to hope for things. It is so easy when you've got nothing to hope for something. I know women who think that It would be nice if there was a nice rich guy that would come along and sweep them off their feet and make the rest of their lives be a moment where they could just eat bonbons and watch movies on their television, and they could decide where their adopted child would go to for private schools. I never thought like that. I never thought that way, and I know that ideology, however, somehow exists. And at times I just get tired of fighting it. I figure that no one is listening to me, and I figure that this whole hope thing is overdone, overrated, overly confusing, over something. So I'm wondering that if I'm getting tired of fighting it, well then why am I even fighting any of this? Everyone has been stepping all over me, so why don't they just get this whole cycle, and I should just get used to this whole cycle. I've got tread marks on my back from the bicycles, motorcycles, and cars all running me over. And there are heel marks and toe prints of people using me as their stepping stool to climb the corporate ladder. And my face is now covered with soot because every time I try to clean myself off, someone fights me and steps on me and pushes me back into the asphalt again. Strands of hair are matted into my face now, into my mouth, almost touching my eye. And this is the cycle, I think. This is the way it goes. So stop fighting, girl. Stop fighting. Get used to it. These are the words I have to keep telling myself until they're like my motto. I have been going through these things, interspersing poetry and prose, and I haven't been giving you titles, but I am going to, and there's one last poem in here, and it has a title, and I'm going to read that and give you the title, because it's the last piece in this book. This was from the Down in the Dirt issue collection book, Legacy. And if you want to know anything about Down in the Dirt, go to scars.tv/dirt. There's lots of stuff about the magazines, and you can submit writing to us. But this is the last poem in the book, and it's called Being God. And do I have to explain it's about relationships? It's not about being... Never. This poem's called Being God. I'm tired of dying for your sins over and over again. And why is it that I'm the one that's doing all the dying when you're the one that's doing all the sinning? I don't think you're learning your lesson. I'm tired of taking this knife to my hands and giving myself the stigmata. The blood gets all over my clothes and I can never get the stains out. And for what? For you to see how I suffer? I'm tired of being humble when I'm supposed to be the one with the power. Over and over again, I become your servant, and never are you bowing to me. I don't even get a thank you. I'm tired of preaching to the converted when the converted aren't even really listening. They're all snoring in the back rows while I deliver my sermon, and there's not even air conditioning in here, and I'm sweating. I'm tired of coming to you and healing the sick, taking away the problems over and over again, giving you something to look forward to when all I have is an eternity of waiting for someone to take my place and tend to my wounds. I'm tired of giving the earth up to you, watching the devil's work be done. And you know, he's just sitting down there and looking up at me and laughing over and over again because it's so easy for him when he doesn't have to work. I'm tired of being your salvation over and over again, and you turn to me, and I never have anyone to turn to but myself. It's a bitch, you know, being your own God, since no one can save me from me. I'm tired of being your teacher, handing you what you need on a silver platter and waiting for that damn collection plate, and someone is always stealing out of it from the back row. I know who you are. You who leave me nothing. I'm tired of wearing this crown of thorns over and over again. The needles prick my skin, and even God's bleed. At least this one does. But when I ask you to wipe the blood out of my eyes, well, I can't see you anywhere. I'm tired of being something for everybody when everybody is nothing for me. Maybe the devil has the right idea, you know. Maybe I should just sit back and wait for you to miss me as you wonder, who is your Messiah now? I thought that might be a slightly more uplifting way and in that show about death poems to end with that poem for you guys. I hope everyone is staying poetically inclined and staying very, very safe in these times. This is my last live reading for the Poetic License 5320 Open Mic, the home edition. I believe I might do a bonus edition with poems for events on Cinco de Mayo, because that sounds like a fun thing to do. We might go pick up beer and I can read beer from outside of a brewery. I have no idea. Or maybe do a bonus issue coming for you guys. So look online for Poetic License Open Mic Home Editions for continuations. The Facebook event page is there and it is open if anybody wants to post any poetry or prose or audio clips or video clips, because these live feeds will go to that page, and future actual video recordings of it, because I know that these Facebook feeds have my name. They have the writing on books and on my hats backwards, so you can have it the right way, forwards and backwards. I'll have it two different ways for you guys in the upcoming days within the next month. But once again, I hope everyone is doing well. I thank you all for listening. I thank you all for remaining creative, remaining safe, remaining poetic, and we look forward to when we can all get together again soon and share the poetry with the entire world. Thank you all so very much.